Do you plan to do another through hike in the future?
So at different times during the trip, I think I had different answers. Currently, I think it's fairly unlikely that I'll do another through hike, but it's not totally out of the question. I suppose just all in all, through hikes just take more time than I think I'm really want to commit to doing a single activity. As I think I said in a previous answer, I like to be able to switch between projects and activities and stuff, which on a through hike you don't really have that ability. So yeah, that's part of the reason. The other reason is I think partially just due to the length of a through hike, I'm not convinced it's the best use of your time. I mean, when you're through hiking, you do get to see all these amazing places like Crater Lakes and Goat Rocks and hike through the Sierras and stuff. But at the same time, there's large sections of basically, yeah, nothing spectacular, no reason to be hiking there. I've hiked miles along highways and on old roads. I've hiked through towns and stuff, and just not places where you generally want to go to hike. So I guess I'd see it as more time efficient to actually just pick a place that I want to hike and then hike in that area. So yeah, future through hikes aren't completely out of the question, but I doubt I'll really pursue one at least anytime in the near future.
Right now, I kind of think no, or at least not one quite of this length. It's also because I don't know of a really great trail. This is about as long as I would want to go, because like I said, maybe a week ago I was still pretty excited to be hiking, but now it's gone downhill. So if I could do a trail that was closer to 100 days to complete, then I think I would really enjoy it. But the AT sounds like it's very crowded and you don't really get any views. You're just in a green tunnel. And then the CDT, we really don't want to go through Arizona and another desert again. So maybe if I heard of a trail that I could complete in closer to 100 days and that wasn't one of those two, I would do it. I would definitely section hike and go out for a couple weeks or a month at a time as well. Like I would section at least the northern part of the CDT.
What were your worst moments on the trail?
Uh, so the first like bad day that comes to mind, I think was around like mile 400. The trail just got yeah, it was in the desert, so water was always an issue, and one of the water sources we were really counting on still flowing was not flowing. So I ended up with like half a liter and still had like 5 miles to go. And then those 5 miles, the trail like was completely overgrown on huge, large sections of it. And whenever it was overgrown like that, the bugs would also attack you relentlessly. So you'd be like shoving yourself through this trail that wasn't a trail while being attacked by bugs, and you'd have to have your earphones in and your eyes nearly closed and be breathing through your nose. And yeah, that was just very much not a fun day. The other days that were probably worse was actually just like 2 days ago or something. It rained in the evening, then it rained all night, then it rained on and off during the day, so we just got completely soaked and muddy and wet, and yeah, it was a coldish day, and yeah, that wasn't a lot of fun either.
Are you getting tired of things on the trail?
Yeah, I'm tired of particularly packing up in the morning, but even setting up camp. Starting to feel more like a chore. We'll just get to camp and sit down and sit around rather than getting our tents up and doing all the stuff we know we have to do. I'm getting very tired of filtering water. I've had the same water filter since the beginning, and it's starting to filter much slower now, so it feels like it takes forever to do it. And if it's cold out and the water's cold, it makes your hands super cold. And then I keep breaking filter bags, and then they want to leak while I'm filtering. And I'm a little bit tired of having to cook and some of the food that we're eating that I don't want. I'm kind of hungry, but I don't really want to eat what we have, so I'm not eating as much. And I don't like it when the weather gets bad at all. I get tired of being wet very quickly. I don't like it when I get cold. And yep, I think that's it.
How's your equipment holding up?
Most of my equipment's doing okay. Yeah, my tent's doing just fine. My water filter's been from the beginning, so it's slowing down, but it's impressive that one filter's made it the whole way. I did have to exchange my stove, and that was pretty recent. It made it most of the way well into Washington before it broke, but then it broke really suddenly. Yeah, I mean, I had to switch backpacks, but it wasn't so much that the backpack broke as that the waist belt just wasn't doing its job anymore, I think because I'd lost too much weight. So most of my gear's been doing okay. My shoes, I'm tired of the shoes that I'm wearing, and they're wearing out, so I would need new shoes if I was to keep going.
How many pairs of shoes have you gone through?
I think this is my 5th. I started in Brooks, and they gave me really bad blisters, so I switched to Ultras. After the Ultras, I tried a pair of Sportivas, and I didn't like them, so I went back, and I had back-to-back pairs of Ultras, and now I'm back in the Sportivas. I decided I didn't want to buy another pair of shoes when I could just make it through with them. They were pretty painful at first, but the more I wore them, the more comfortable they got for a while, and now they're starting to hurt my feet again.
Do you have any best moments or days on the trail?
Yeah, I don't know if I have like best days or anything. I suppose like best sections. I mean, when we went through Goat Rocks, I think Goat Rocks is so far probably what I'd consider the best the best piece of the trail so far. Goat Rocks was really enjoyable. Crater Lakes was also quite nice. I think taking the alternate to actually hike around the lake was definitely the right choice, and that was a nice area. And then some of the passes in the Sierras were kind of nice. Forester was good, Glen was good, Kearsarge was good, even though that's not technically on the PCT. So some of the, I suppose like the first bit of the Sierras was really nice. I remember like the last 8 or 10 miles of the Sierras when you're coming into Kennedy Meadows North. That was a really nice section. And I thought there was one more section that I was thinking of, but I can't think of it right now. I think it was like Aloha Lake or something right outside of South Lake Tahoe. That's a fairly nice area.
What will you miss the most about being on trail?
I suppose there's several things. One nice thing is being able to eat basically whatever you want and as much of it as you want and still lose weight. That's pretty nice. But I suppose the main things that I'll actually miss about living on trail is, I guess, just almost the simplicity of it. You don't really have very many worries or anything. I mean, your biggest worries are like, what's the weather going to do? Is the trail going to be closed? When am I going to eat next or something? So it's it's a fairly simple life without very many worries. While at the same time, it can give you a good sense of accomplishment quite frequently. I mean, you climb a big pass and that might give you a sense of accomplishment, or you've hiked 20 or 25 miles and you get a sense of accomplishment. So it's an easy life that gives you a lot of sense of accomplishment, and that's quite nice. Yep. In some ways, all the free time while you are hiking is kind of nice. You're a little limited on what you can use that free time on, but I mean, you can listen to audiobook after audiobook, which is, quite nice. And then obviously there's just at times the beauty of the trail. So when you're hiking through like Goat Rocks or in the Sierras, or even just at night when you step out or wake up and just are able to look up and see the beautiful night sky above you, that's quite nice.
I think I'll miss being out in nature so much, and in some ways there's less stress and less worry, like you don't have to go to a job or anything. There were still some concerns like watching the weather and watching for fires and trying to find enough water sources, but that's overall less stressful than maybe meeting deadlines or going to a stressful job every day. I will miss not being able to eat absolutely anything that I want and as much food as I want, like getting into towns. We could go anywhere or eat as much food as we want, and no matter how much I ate, it still seemed like I was losing weight, so that was nice. And to be able to eat all the junk food that we ate on the trail. Yeah, I think that's what I'll miss the most. Every day was like a new adventure. We didn't really know what we would see or what we would experience. We went through so many different areas and did get to see a lot of cool stuff, and there were new and beautiful things every single day. So just being out, being in the mountains, and never knowing what to expect.